everyone, and welcome back to the KO Data Insights channel. So in the previous video we discussed our personal favorite Power BI enhancements for the past year, and in this video I would like to focus on one specific feature, which is the Power BI DAX UDFs. So I'll focus on how UDFs actually work, what to be careful about, and the mental model you need so you don't get the wrong results. So what UDFs really are? DAX UDFs let you define your own reusable DAX function and call them from measures. The big shift is that business logic no longer needs to be copied across measures. You define it once, reuse it everywhere, and change it safely later. And that's why UDFs matter so much for governance and consistency. And the most important concept when it comes to UDFs for me is the evaluation context. The key thing is to understand about UDFs when and where this logic is evaluated, and this is where most mistakes happen. But let me share my screen and I'll show one example. So I've defined two functions for sales. And now the first function, I'm defining the input parameter as expression, and in the second function, I'm defining the input parameter as value. And so we have otherwise pretty simple calculation. We are taking one base measure and we are applying a filter on this measure. But let's jump to the end result when we apply this function to the very same measure. So see how the end result differs, and that's why I'm saying that's where most mistakes happen, because you get some result, but not all of the assumptions you made in the function are taken into account. So if UDF parameter is defined as scalar or as value, the way it is here, it's evaluated too early. So it's evaluated even before we apply these filters, and therefore we already have the sum of our sales in our case, and this is not affected by the filter on the internal customers that we want to apply as part of this function. And if this very significant UDF function we have input parameter defined as expression, then it's evaluated inside the filter context of the calling measure. And you see how that difference alone can completely change the results. So as a rule of thumb, I can clearly say if your function wraps business logic around the measure, use expression in your parameters definition. If your function accepts constant values or thresholds, then you can freely use value. And then I'll stop sharing and I'll go to the next important concept when it comes to UDFs, and this is formatting of UDFs. So another important rule is don't format inside UDFs unless formatting is the whole purpose of the function. So for example, if you have month-over-month calculation, KPI variance, then you want to return a number in your calculation. And applying formatting at the measure level or via calculation group is the right approach. Why? Because once you return a text as a result of your measure, then you lose the ability to aggregate, conditionally format, or reuse the output in other calculations. And the exception of this rule is to format inside UDFs only when formatting is the only purpose of this function. Another important rule I'm following in my work when working with UDFs is that I deliberately return blanks in edge cases. So let's say I'm missing previous period values, I'm missing targets, And if I return blanks in these edge cases, then it's obvious that this is missing. I don't get misleading zeros in my report, in the visuals, and keep it clean. So UDFs are powerful indeed, but they're not meant to replace everything. They shine when you encapsulate business rules, when you have repeatable KPI logic that you can apply on multiple base measures, when you have period over period patterns, conditional formatting rules, but they are not recommended for one-time measures, for highly specific logic, and heavy row-by-row iterators that are hard to generalize. So in these cases, use simple DAX functions and single measures, and use DAX UDF only where consistency matters. And closing thoughts about DAX UDFs. Be mindful, DAX UDFs won't magically fix your bad model, but they'll significantly improve how we maintain, how we refactor, how we govern Power BI semantic models. UDFs are not about being more clever when writing DAX, and they are about boring consistency and being more effective when we have repetitive tasks. If your logic is extremely report specific, a normal measure may be the better choice. I've shared reusable UDFs like time intelligence, conditional formatting class that I use daily in my work in a GitHub repo. You can find the link below in the comments of this video. So go and take advantage of it. And if you have any questions or requests for creating some more UDFs, please comment under the video or reach out. I'll happily create more videos on this topic. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye!